Every year we have some special people whom we want to recognize for their contributions to the game as well as to sportsmanship. Today it's my privilege to introduce and talk to you about one such person. He's been a true ambassador of sports. He's been a role model to many of the young kids in Skyline City Park. One of my first captains in Skyline City Park Olympics. And I think what I like about him is his maturity, which is far beyond his years. And I think he's a good role model to all our kids. I'd like to give a special award to Sanjay.
A big round of applause, please. A deserving award to him. The way he showed the spirit, how the game should be played. Winning or losing doesn't matter. Yeah. May I request Ramendra uncle to give away the award. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please. Sanjay, a few words. Your learnings on this.
Honestly, as a speech prepared, I was told I was supposed to speak on various incidents throughout this tournament. But I didn't expect the award. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone. I mean, whoever decided on this award, I'm greatly honored. In fact, really honored. Thank you very much for the award. So that I could now move on to the things that I jotted down these couple of days. There are a few things I'd like to share with you. Throughout these last 2 weeks, I've enjoyed a lot. I have been away from home for the last 4 years. I mean, basically I come back every weekend. But still, I've missed most of the life in Skyline for the last 4 or 5 years since I was studying in Kodamangala. So at that time what happened was there were a lot of new people at our flat, but eventually what happened, I never knew their names. So this time around I thought, I should involve a lot in sports so that I can at least get to know a lot more of people from the flat. And I'm glad that has happened. Really enjoyed playing with you all, sharing time with you every evening. It was a lot of fun. So I'll just move on to the bits and pieces that I've jotted down. First of all, the march past on the first day. When I looked at it initially, I saw Red Bulls with a lot of flags and posters, and the Greyhounds were walking around with a lot of posters. They had even uniforms, and I was thinking, my God, Black Panthers has nothing. And I was calling Surajat, and he wasn't picking the call. And I called Surajat, and Surajat, I was calling him to tell him to come fast. And then I just ran to Spine Road, and I see all of a sudden 4 people coming towards me, wearing green, violet, orange, different color lungis and black t-shirts and shades. And I was like, what? And all of a sudden there was this whole chanting of whiskey, brandy, soda pop, we want Panthers on the top. And I guess it just spread through all the other teams, and the whole feeling throughout that march past. It was a lot of, I think it was a great start to the whole event. And Ramesh uncle asked me to mention a couple of things that struck me, and one of the first things that struck me was a couple of incidents of true sportsman spirit in Skyline. I was really happy because it was one of the youngsters who showed that. I was the official for the first junior football match, and during the game, it was an amazing game because one of the Greyhounds were losing 4-1. They were behind by 3 goals in the second half, and they went on to score 5 goals and win the match 6-4 eventually. And at one point, Greyhounds scored 4 goals, then they were leading 5-4. And what happened was, there was an appeal for, nobody saw the handball, but I saw it and I called for the handball. And everyone was surprised, and the guy in question was Shiva. And I called for a handball, and Shiva was like, I'm sorry. He put his hand up and he claimed that handball. That's an amazing gesture for someone so young. You have to think about the consequences at that point. They were losing 5-4. One more goal would have killed the match off. And maybe because of his luck, they didn't score the penalty. But eventually the other team scored 1 more goal and they won 6-4. And Shiva showed a lot of amazing sportsman spirit. And in the same match, Joseph was there was a case of handball. It went for a corner. There was a confusion as to who it went off, and Joseph put his hands up and said it went off me, and so it was a corner. So those two incidents struck me quite a lot because at such young age, they're showing amazing sportsman spirit. And there was one issue yesterday. Unluckily, Shiva had to cut tracks. Unknowingly he cut tracks in between the race, and he ended up in front of Varun. Even till that time, Shiva was in front of Varun, but still he ended up right in front of Varun. And Varun was feeling bad, and Varun was going. He was sitting far apart. He was almost on the verge of tears. He was in tears actually, but still Shiva went and sat beside him. And he didn't speak anything. He didn't say, "I'm sorry, Varun, I'm sorry." He didn't go about doing that. But still, he was sitting beside Varun, and he was comforting him with his silence. He was just sitting there, and after some time, I heard someone come and say, "I heard Shiva is not going to run for the finals." Shiva qualified for the finals, and Shiva, for some moment, I think, decided not to run the finals because he was feeling bad. But he deserved to be in the finals. Shiva deserved to be in the finals, but that gesture too, that thought process of maybe I did something wrong and my friend deserves it more. I think he deserves a huge round of applause for those tiny incidents. I think it should be a precedent for every kid next to him. It's all about playing fair. And amazing incident of the Greyhounds football team again. I remember the first match, Alan and Sharath were the only big people, as in physically at least. The defenders were Arati, Mohannad, and the goalkeeper was half the size of the goalpost. It was Ryan. A lot of the times the teams plan according to the weakness of the other team. But this time around, what Greyhounds did was they planned according to their own strength. Alan and Sharath took that responsibility of getting the team through. And they eventually won gold. On paper, Greyhounds was the weakest team. But I think everyone gelled together amazingly, and special credit to Alan and Sharath for taking that extra responsibility for the whole team. Sharath! And there was a small incident before the cricket match. There was Black Panthers junior cricket match. My cousin Chirayan and I lovingly call him Puttapai. Even I feel like making fun of him all the time. I just love him so much. He's like that bunny for me. So, and I guess a lot of people here have that feeling. So, before the match, Puttapai was practicing the cricket shot, and he was missing all the shots. People were bowling at him, he would just swing and the ball would go back. So everyone would be like, so during the match, Puttapai came into bat first. The team was in a tight spot. Puttapai came into bat. Till that time, you should think of his mentality. Everyone were making fun of him. Puttapai came to bat, 4 balls, all fours. And then he went on to play a couple of wickets, crucial wickets in the match, and had an amazing performance throughout the night. So that's all about performing under pressure. So the kids, I think everybody, obviously you'll make fun of people, but still you give the respect to people because you don't know what might come up against you. So it's about performing under pressure. I think Puttapai showed us a great example in that. Parmeshwaran uncle's mother, Saroja auntie. There was this badminton match, I don't know, many would have missed it. She was wearing a sari, and I don't know how many people would dare to play badminton in a sari, let alone at that particular age. She was playing, and at one point the shuttlecock went a bit to the bag, and she reached for it towards the bag, but she fell down. She almost hit her head, and she got up. There was no fuss on her face. And you won't believe it, the next 3 points, she won it for the team. The next 3 points, I don't know how, but it was superhuman in that day. And I noticed it because I was one of the line umpires. So, it was an amazing game. They lost the match eventually, but still, it shows how to come back when you're down. One of the things that I learned, the biggest lessons probably, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is, be careful when you call someone an auntie. Before Skyline Olympics, I had a lot of aunties, and now I have a lot of chechis. Before the Olympics, I was like, Vimendi kalikan varumo. Vimendi, nee endole auntie endole. it was almost like the other change in the valley pin thodagam. With a lot of people, irrespective of the age, maybe too. So, and when I felt that difference, there were these small kids, maybe 5th standard, 6th standard kids too. They were like, I'd be umpire, and they were like, uncle, that was out. And I was like, more than uncle, Allah. People would end up calling me uncle, and I would sit and calculate, what's the difference in age between me and the kid? Okay, if he's a 4-year-old kid, probably 18 years old, and I would calculate subsequently the other the difference between me and the changes, and it would be very small, and I'd be like, I was so stupid all these years. So yes, to the kids, next time you call an auntie, a changy auntie, beware.
Uncle.
And last, I'm sure the whole of sports would have been so less sweet without those ice creams. Tony Chettan, very heavily canvassed for. I don't know how wrong. Initially I thought Tony Chettan was sponsoring it every day, but suddenly those thank you to these people for the. I remember once, I think it was Teju's birthday. Teju's birthday is in April, I think, and now we are in November. And he was like, "This is for Teju's birthday," and I was like, 4 months before her birthday, we are celebrating her birthday. So how lucky can you get? This is Skyline City Park. So thank you, Tony Cheta, for those amazing ice creams. It's the same, but still we enjoyed the free one quite a lot. Last but not the least, second last, because there's one special person I have to thank. In Malayalam, there's this saying, "Tonda kadaveduthu vannavar." Ramesh uncle introduced him, and he's right about in the vicinity. And this special young man, if you look at it, he insults you during the match. He insults you during the match. He insults your opponent. But the good thing about it is, you don't take it as an insult, you don't feel that it's an insult. He'd be telling Rahul when he's playing badminton, left triangle, So, he insults you in such a sweet way, you feel so nice about it. And I think his voice, Tibar Colosseums would have been a lot silent had it not been for this man here. Thank you very much for creating that atmosphere. And now, last but no means the least, the most special person for me after my father, mother, and my brother, of course, and my cousins, Ramesh uncle. Maybe 20 years down the line, the definition for gentleman in Oxford Dictionary would be Ramesh, Kosapur and Ramesh. I don't know how much, I don't have words for him, because every time there's a dispute, it doesn't matter what team is, even if he was a part of Red Bulls, even if it was not the Red Bull, even if it was Red Bulls that was playing. At some point in time, there were people who would tell me, I'd be the umpire for badminton, and somebody would tell me some rule, and I'd be like, all of a sudden I'd be confused. And the only person I would turn to was Ramesh uncle. And even if it was Red Bulls who was playing, I'd turn to Ramesh uncle because I knew. I believe everybody, but I believe an extra mile more. So, Ramesh uncle, thank you very much for organizing this. Thank you very much for keeping everything together. And to all of you people, I hope everybody enjoyed this whole tournament. It is not about winning. I'm sure that's what the ultimate message that should be going across. It is not about winning. I think if everybody's put in their effort, it's more than enough. It's all about making friends. And I hope all of you have made at least one friend out after since this tournament's ended. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the award once again.
Thank you, Sanjay.